In spy movies and books, from John le Carré to James Bond, human intelligence officers have traveled around the world to steal secrets and meet with their sources. However, as technology continues to advance, those meetings and secret rendezvous are becoming more and more difficult. Over the last couple decades, as technology has gotten more and more advanced, from biometrics to cell phone pings on radio towers to social media, those types of technology have put the intelligence community at risk. By 2014 and 2015, big data was being stolen in troves. Chinese intelligence services pilfered over 20 million records from the Office of Personnel Management. Following that theft, the intelligence community understood in a new way how much of its data was stored outside of its own walls and how it was really unprotected. People leave massive digital footprints these days, and as a result, it's almost impossible to be anonymous these days. Because of that, recruitment has become difficult for the intelligence community. Even if you are someone that tries to avoid that massive digital footprint, or you've spent money to sort of wipe your digital history, that looks extremely suspicious. Intelligence officers used to have a number of different aliases. They could have a bag full of different passports and use different names even within the same country. But that has gotten more and more difficult as countries like Singapore have connected their entire digital architecture together, from airport data to taxicab data to hotel information. So it's impossible to operate under all these different names anymore. Intelligence officers are taking to just using their own names. Following the tragedy of September 11th, the intelligence community was under a lot of pressure to prevent the next disaster. Congress was pushing money on them, trying to make sure that they would be able to get the important secret information that would make that possible. One method that they used was sending a lot more non-officially covered officers overseas. Those are called NOCs. The idea was to try to embed people within the extremist groups rather than relying heavily upon diplomatic circles. The push to expand NOCs into overseas operations was largely a failure, according to reporting at the time. In response to that, the CIA pushed a new program that has hardly been reported on, called the Diversified Cover Officers Program. They would recruit foreign nationals to gather intelligence for them. Gathering intelligence and information from human sources is vital. When I spoke to Congressman Himes, who is on the House Intelligence Committee, he explained that the difference between getting a photo from a satellite of a missile testing site, for example, and actually communicating with a human source is that you can discover intention, thoughts, feelings, emotions that factor into human decision-making. One of the main questions that our story poses is how human intelligence work will survive the challenges presented by technology within the 21st century. Some intelligence officials we spoke to said that it's ridiculous that people would think that human intelligence gathering was dead, while others said that many within the CIA are in denial. One alternative that we reported extensively on is that the private sector would take on a lot of the burden of gathering intelligence because businessmen and business people can go into places that intelligence officers can't, China being one example. One of the important questions asked there is whether or not the American people would be comfortable with a lot of this intelligence work being outsourced to the private sector.